Week number 5.
We made it to October.
These guys don't even know what I'm talking about. And October is this week. It's crazy. Q4.
Yes, it is.
It's good, the start of Q4. Well, guys, I had the thought this weekend. I do a lot of demos, and we're always talking about Audition AI. It gives you granular control over how your users use AI, and you can see what they're using AI for. And one of the things you can control is models. There's thousands of models out there, and Audition AI can connect to any model. And I say, hey, we got this model manager, and look, you can give this granular control, but then we never dive any deeper into it. And from what I hear with people, there's a lot of confusion about, like, I really only use ChatGPT. Like, what do these other models do? And I thought that would be a great topic today to say there's specific models that do specific things. Like for example, Grok 4 does a really good job at, big complex spreadsheets and working with that.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I'm going to pause there. I think you get the idea of it, but let's sort of demystify models, maybe like tied to use cases and models.
Yeah, I mean, I would even just add to that, there's the, what I would call general purpose models, right? Like the standard models that are out there like GPT-4.1 or GPT-5, things like that you can use for a variety of different things.
Mm-hmm.
And within the Azure Foundry, Ben and I were searching the other day. We're like, there's 11,000 models in this thing now. There's got to be some purpose-built ones that have, a fit for certain use cases. And we came across one, I forget the name of the company that made the model, but it was trained on financial documents, specifically the types of documents on, the SEC website or EDGAR. It knows how to extrapolate data out of those things, how to read them, how to summarize them really, really, really well. So there's a whole, wave of models beyond just the standard ones that you think of when you think of, Grok or GPT or Claude, those types of things.
Yeah. Let me ask the expert a question. You're prompting, you're chatting with AI. There's also a system prompt working behind the scenes. And then there's also a model. And then there's integrations. Do you want to take a moment to let us know how that's all tied together?
Sure. Okay. So your model is kind of like the personality.
Okay.
I pick a different model for different tasks. And even sometimes in the middle of a workflow, if I want a different personality, if I want a different view and expertise on this particular part of my task, my workflow, my chat, I'll change models.
Mm-hmm.
The system prompt is the start prompt. It gets you faster to the point where you can achieve things. The system prompt is the reason that you don't have to write a book setting the stage. You don't have to say, my name is Benjamin Saberin, I build software for the financial space. You don't have to say all of those things because that's all in the system prompt.
Yeah.
And the idea of personas in Audition is to give you the ability to pick a system prompt that is a great starting point for the conversation with a specific model. So the system prompt is the starting instructions that lays the foundation. I had one customer described it like a favorite. It's almost like a favorite. Get you going. The model is a personality, and the personality comes with capabilities. Just like if you work on a team, everybody on the team might have, a different experience or a different approach to things. Grok tends to just run with it. It's kind of like no training wheels. It just goes at whatever it is that you give it, and it goes at it hard, and it doesn't ask for a lot of clarification. It just does the thing you want to do. Mm-hmm. Whereas the GPT models tend to have a lot more guardrails put in. Mm-hmm. So they might not accomplish as much, but it feels more like you're collaboratively working with a person. So the system prompt gets everything going. It's a starting point for the conversation that provides context for the AI, and the model itself is a personality. It comes with capability, it comes with knowledge and history, and it comes with a personality, a way that it approaches things. So in my daily AI workload, I change models. I change between a few different models, but every day I use about 6 or 7 different models every single day.
Yeah.
It's funny you say that. You said the word personality, and now that I've been here for almost 6 months, I'm using the AI every single day. Like I totally get what you mean by that because, when you work with different models, you get different interactions, little subtle things sometimes, but until you're working with this technology every day, you don't really notice these things. For example, like ChatGPT 5, right? It's like this super smart, super fast, almost like an eager like college assistant, and they crank through stuff really fast. It's always asking you questions and validation, and then you do maybe like GPT-4.1 where it's like a little bit more pensive. It thinks about it a little bit more and, gives you a little bit more, sometimes more thorough answer, and it's really knowing the personalities and the use case and trying to figure out how to fit those things together. So Ben, you're further down the road than I am with this journey, but I'm starting to pick up on that. It's funny that you said the word personalities. That's exactly what it feels like.
It is interesting, and I think with the like ChatGPT is great.
Really,
GPT-5 is a really powerful and amazing model, and even though we can't control the system prompt in ChatGPT, it is a really good system prompt. And I think we've all experienced those successes where we do something in 5 minutes that just saved us 6 hours of time, and it almost seems like magic. And it's like, wow, this is incredible.
Sure.
But we have also all struggled with either hallucinations or wasting 6 hours of your day fighting with the AI, trying to get it to do something. And that's also kind of the curse of trying to be something for everyone and everything. And that's really the use case where you would maybe want to look at different models.
Yeah. Even GPT-5.
Yeah.
GPT-5 has 2 main variants. There's the deep reasoning model, kind of the pro version, and then there's the GPT-5 chat variant that's designed to talk to a human like a human. And the GPT-5 chat variant is much faster with its responses, unless you specifically tell it, think deeply. But it's much faster with its responses, and it comes back with bullets and formatting and tables and all of those kinds of things.
Yeah.
Where if you give a task to GPT-5 Pro for reasoning, it will think for a long time. It'll make a lot of calls to outside data services and come back, but it just kind of I say vomits, like when there's no formatting, it just vomits the information out and just gives that to you. So an ideal scenario is actually to have ask GPT-5 Pro an answer and then have GPT-5 evaluate the sort of the raw response and format it in a human. And I very much do that all the time.
And that's where you switch models within
right, midstream.
Summarize what your brother said.
This is the thing I find. So as a ChatGPT advocate, using the app and the website all day, every day. The frustration I have with GPT trying to take control of model selection is really high on my list. So of the things they've done that have really just frustrated me and caused me to waste a lot of time, that waste 6 hours trying to get something done, it's taking away model selection and trying to impose their way of doing that. And I see where they're going. It's a very powerful system, but I've established some good workflows that require me being able to pick the model. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. And I think I would just like to run by like 4 use cases with 4 different models that might do a better job than just using ChatGPT as a default.
Yeah.
And I will say, for anyone listening that doesn't know, with Audition AI, we have something that's called persona agents. And it's really comprised of 4 pillars. You can set the AI temperature, the creativity level, and that's really responsible for like hallucinations. You can select which model to use, and remember, you can connect to any model in the world. You control the system prompt, that set of instructions that you're telling the AI what you're trying to achieve. And then you're in control of the connectors, those integrators that connect with the software that you use every day. You have full control over those 4 things. So I guess let's dive into a couple of use cases. All right. Analyst workflows. Customers analyzing earnings calls, 10Ks, research notes. I say Claude 3.5 Sonnet really excels at that.
I think Anthropic has done a brilliant job with their finance models in general.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely Claude Sonnet 3.5, 4.1, Opus, even like if you're willing to spend some coin, like Opus is that expensive model.
Yeah.
But in finance, the Anthropic models are really, really exciting and powerful. My challenge with them, just because of our whole thing of we don't like data to leave our 4 walls, is the concept of needing to send the requests to the Anthropic service versus having it tightly coupled to the application. Even in AWS, when we run Audition AI in AWS, you still have to send your requests out to Anthropic. It's their servers in AWS so that they can enforce their own compliance reviews and whatnot. And I'm uncomfortable with that. It's not that I don't trust them, because I think that the foundation of their entire company was safety, security, privacy. Yep. So I respect that. And I believe that they are following it. I just, from a construct perspective, I prefer to keep the models in-house. So there are some good alternatives to that run entirely in your Azure tenant if you're an Azure company.
Got it.
So,
makes sense.
Yeah.
The second one, when it comes to compliance and legal work, customers are using Mistral Large 2 and Cohere Command R+ for like SEC rural checks and like contract redlining documents.
Yeah.
Those are really good job, just grounded answers with that.
And it's not that GPT-5 or 4.1 or 4.0, I think the large language models in general have done a pretty good job on this front. Review a big document, provide feedback on it, but these models are so specifically trained very much for legal that I see people preferring them over a GPT model. And I am not an attorney, so I don't know the reasons people might select these are not always clear to me, but they just like the outputs.
Yeah, makes sense. This is interesting, and you can probably do a deep dive on this. Is quant development. Funds are reviewing, Python, R repos with Qwen 3 Coder.
Yeah,
I've never heard of that model before.
I actually haven't used it. I need to. It gets good reviews. I've had great experience with that stuff. Also with the Grok models. So the Grok models are great at writing code, especially Grok Code Fast 1, I think it's called. I forget what they call it. But it's the latest Grok coding model. Is really, really great at writing Python code, and it's so fast. This model that you're talking about, I haven't played with it, and I'm looking forward to it, especially because it came up in your list of things that customers are using for Python coding.
All right, and the last one, when it just comes to bulk processing. So, firms that are running filings, transaction tagging, that kind of stuff. DeepSeek gets 2 thumbs up with that.
So when DeepSeek first came out, I was on a campaign against them. The fact that it's been running direct from Azure in Azure AI Foundry for so long with absolutely no negative reviews by the open source cyber community makes me think maybe it's fine. I was a little concerned about its origin and the way that it came out, but it is so good. And beyond that, it is so cheap.
So cheap.
So whenever a model is really, really cheap and highly effective, like that's an interesting combination, because this AI stuff can get pretty expensive pretty fast.
Yeah.
It's very cheap compared to almost everything else in Foundry.
Do you want to talk about how you pay for models? It's measured in tokens?
It is, yeah. So, I mean, that's it. You just said it. It's measured in tokens. So most of these models you pay in per million tokens.
Yeah.
That's typically how you pay for them. There are some models that have their own, there are different models supported by there are different payment methods or strategies associated with different models in Azure AI Foundry. For example, Flux images, you pay depending on the model, you pay $20 per 1,000 images you generated, or something like that. So you'll pay $20 and then you have a budget of 1,000 and then you'll pay another 20, and that's how it works. But with most of these, you simply get a bill for that's usually in the you pay a penny for some amount of token usage, and it's usually measured in millions. So there are other ways to do it though. So if you prefer, and I think this probably applies to either we've seen this when we do automation workflows where people are pounding on the AI 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. This can get very expensive. I think, Mags, you said that you have a friend who spent 150 grand in token usage in 1 year?
200 grand.
Over 200 grand in token usage in 1 year to build an app or an ecosystem of apps, which might have been a good use of money. I mean, I'm not saying that was a bad use of tokens. He accomplished some pretty amazing things, but you can pay for consumption, which is per token or per as you use things up. You can also pay for most of these things by securing a fixed amount of, almost like a server. Like I'm going to buy a server that has this much capacity, and then you can say, I'll pay $500 a month for this. And if you if you have 100 people all using it in 1 5-minute period, the responses might be slower. But if nobody's using it at 3 a.m. and you have automation running against it, so very much we've seen customers start by using token usage, and then as those costs start to raise, then we start to let's talk about a fixed resource that is not variable. So it will be variable performance, but not variable cost. Or actually fixed performance that you use up, and the more you use it up, the slower it gets, or something like that.
Yeah.
It's
Makes
sort of
sense.
the way they sell almost every other resource in Azure. You can buy you can buy a dedicated server, and you get this size of a server. And if it's very busy, it'll be slower. And if it's not very busy, it'll be faster.
Got it. It's like cell phone companies with unlimited data.
Yeah.
And turns pretty bad after 2 gigabytes.
Sure. Yeah. They start to throttle you.
What models do you use? You said you use 7?
6 or 7. I use the Anthropic models quite a bit. I use them primarily for coding, or for the more like the logic and the planning around building a plan to accomplish a specific coding task. Okay, they're great. Sonnet and Opus. Sonnet, everything from 3.5 to 4 and 4.1, like they all have different personalities somehow. So I use all of them. I use the GPT models quite a bit. 4.1, 4.0, or 4.1, 4.0, 5 mini. The mini model, like a slew of the different mini models, the reasoning models, depending on the task.
Yeah.
And then the Grok code model, Grok code fast 1, is a daily driver for me. And then in Audition, I use the GPT-5 reasoning and chat. I use 4.1 quite a bit. I use Grok 3 quite a bit because Grok 3, even though it's not quite as good as Grok 4, Grok 3 runs direct from Azure, so the data stays in my Azure tenant, so I get a lot done with that. And image models. I use the GPT image gen. I almost don't use that. I use that very rarely now, but mostly I use the Flux model because I find that just much faster.
Yeah.
Same results, faster.
What about you?
Yeah.
I don't use 7 models like Ben does on a daily basis, that's for sure. When GPT-5 came out, I started leaning into GPT-5 models a little bit more, with the chat and the reasoning. You definitely pick up on the different personalities between them. And I always thought as new models came out, they kind of replaced the ones before them. But then I realized that 4.1 still does a lot of things better and differently. It's easier for certain types of tasks. So I kind of gravitate between those three. I use Grok 4 a little bit for some research, things like that. I haven't gotten into the O3 models yet. I haven't had a reason to do that yet, but we have a couple client workflows coming up that I think we might want to do some more experimentation with those models for a couple of use cases. But yeah, I'm pretty simple at this point.
I wonder what the best way to research different models is. Is it just using ChatGPT to ask?
It's been tough. It's been tough to use models to research models. They don't seem, I don't feel like they have a good understanding of each other's capability. And part of that is, like when ChatGPT 5 first came out, I started asking it, like, what's the difference between 5 and 4.1? It didn't give me good answers.
Yeah.
So it's been almost like one of those weird things that you have to learn on your own. So I'll ask people here, hey, what are you using for this? And then we talk about that. And we have our internal notes on what's good. By the way, I don't mean to, like, I'm not against Google, but Gemini has been good for me for almost nothing. I've been unhappy with Gemini's results on almost everything I've used it for.
I talked to someone yesterday on a Sunday that said the same thing.
But I know people that love Gemini that use it almost exclusively. They love it and they have access. They're not constrained by price or anything else. They can have whatever they want and they choose to use Gemini.
That's what they like.
The image stuff from Google on the Android devices seems absurd. You can take a picture of someone and then AI chat right there. Take a picture, do a chat, it makes a refinement to your image. That's cool. Like, it's really cool.
Oh yeah.
But in practice for business purposes, I have not found it to be great. And we are Google Enterprise, Google Workspace Enterprise, and we are Office 365. And I don't love the AI features inside Google stuff like Google Docs and whatnot. I don't find it does a great job. But I feel similar to Copilot, Microsoft Copilot inside Office 365. Somehow they haven't quite gotten it right.
I hope we get some comments on the YouTube video of your favorite models and why. I mean, there's
Especially
thousands.
one you haven't mentioned.
There's 11,000 just in Foundry.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'll be the first to admit my ignorance. Like, I really couldn't speak intelligently about it.
There are something like 11,300 some odd models now, and we have played with all but 11,275 of them. I mean, there's too many models to have played with.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
So, is it a fair statement to say ChatGPT's latest model, which is currently 5, that's like the good daily driver?
I think OpenAI sets the gold standard for the day-to-day generic AI. It does. And whatever they do is where people are shooting for. And then everything else in the world is purpose-built for a specific purpose. Even if someone intended it to be a generic, I just think ChatGPT sets the standard for this is just where you start. And then if you have something that you need to get done that needs a specific personality or capability, you start looking to Anthropic or Google or something else in the Foundry.
Yeah, totally. And I think that's another thing that I want to say, especially with a lot of conversations saying like we need to pick an AI solution. It's like, no. All 3 of us in this room all have pro ChatGPT accounts and we use it every single day.
Yeah.
The app is amazing.
Yeah.
Talking with voice is amazing.
Sure.
I don't use Google anymore. I use ChatGPT as my Google.
Sharon said that to me the other day. She has not gone to google.com in months.
Yeah. I use it to hash out a lot of ideas. I think their system prompt is amazing. And almost daily, I have that experience where I did something in 5 minutes that saved me 6 hours of time. But where I've completely given up on ChatGPT because there's something better, Audition AI, is when it just comes to doing very specific things.
Yeah.
Like that purpose built. Like I have a dozen different agents in Audition AI, and like that's how I do my job. It's how I'm doing my emails, my calendar. It's how I'm creating documents. It's how I make my social media content. It's like it's scheduled tasks.
Sure.
That gives me a recap of the day of like, what did I complete for my to-do list? It does so many things that like ChatGPT couldn't do.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like,
And
literally use
consistently.
both.
They're not going to take it away from you.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
It's consistent. It's very consistent.
I know you're
I like
probably
that.
trying to wrap up. Can I give one more example that just came to mind about why models matter?
Yeah.
Okay, this has nothing to do with ChatGPT or Audition, but it's just an example in our immediate experience of why that matters. When we build websites or new apps,
Yeah.
we used to begin in an Adobe product, and then we began in Figma,
Yep.
and now our designers begin in a product called V0, which is an AI-assisted design prototyping thing that doesn't build designs, it just builds apps, like full websites, full apps, and then they can hand that off directly to a developer, and the code is already started. So it's not screenshots of things, it is things that are real.
Right.
Real things. Figma is trying to do a good job with this with Figma Make, and it's okay, but V0 was magnificent. V0 had 3 models. They had a Vercel small model, a Vercel medium model, and a Vercel large model. And whatever you were doing, you could pick which model you wanted to use. And small was cheap, and medium was, medium cost, and large was kind of expensive. And then when ChatGPT 5 came out, Vercel aligned with OpenAI. And so our people were really, really good at using Vercel to get done exactly what they wanted to get done.
Yeah.
Then Vercel aligned with OpenAI. And there was only one model, and it was ChatGPT 5, or it's GPT-5. It was the only model they supported. And since they did that, a couple of things have happened. Number one, every single person on the design team has complained that the model has ruined their project. So it's frustrating because they used to be able to pick a specific model that they knew what it was going to do each time.
Yeah.
They said, I know what this is going to accomplish.
Yeah.
And that is no longer the case. Sometimes now they say, change this button to blue, and it changes the entire design. And it's very frustrating for them.
Right.
Wow.
Second, we used to spend, on average, I don't know, say $10 a day for a designer. And that number is now, like, they're re-upping all the time. Their included credits, they blow through them really quick. And I don't know if this is intentional, if they're making more money. I don't know what it is, but it's enough that some of the designers have chosen to leave the product. And they now do things in a different way. Some of the designers have stuck with it and they've gotten okay at sort of dealing with it, but they consider what they have now, because a model was forced on them. A new model that does things very different has been forced on them that makes them feel like they now have an inferior product. This is the way I felt the day after ChatGPT 5 came out, and my paid subscription forced one model on me, and I was no longer to pick my models inside ChatGPT. I felt like I had an inferior product, even though the model is arguably better than the previous models.
Oh, yeah.
The lack of choice hurt me as a consumer quite a bit.
It can. I mean, Reddit exploded when ChatGPT 5 came out because all these people that built agents using the 4.0 model, it just broke. Like the workflows just, broke down completely.
Yeah, that's what happens. So the model selection is really important, not just because you need to have something cool to play with, but because if you need to have consistency, being able to choose the model and the system prompt and how the data interfaces, those things staying the same. Otherwise, it's just a toy. Otherwise, it's not something you can depend on. It's something I need to come back to this every day. And AI, I do, probably 30 hours of work in a 16-hour day because of AI now.
Yeah.
And if AI lets me down, I have a really bad day. I don't sleep very much because I'm now expected to do all this work in a day.
Yeah.
There are these expectations, and there's not a lot of room to not do that. So I need the AI to be consistent. I will pay more to use a model that somebody, Microsoft or OpenAI thinks is inferior, as long as it can keep, because I built all these workloads, just like you, dozens of workloads that happen on my behalf every day that need to happen consistently.
Yeah.
Picking the model is really important. If you're at the very beginning of your journey and just playing around, if you're using AI to just plan your day, your agenda, and you kind of don't care how it's going to turn out, then it's fine. Use whatever model is the latest and greatest in the moment.
Yeah.
But once you have established a way of doing things,
Yeah.
and you have established a rapport with specific AI workflows that require a specific model, it's tough. You should pick a solution that lets you stick to your model.
Right.
That lets you pick your model.
I mean, I think you just nailed it, right? I think for like personal tasks and things like that, if you change the model, you know what, it's not going to kill my day. But, you know, in a business context, you need that consistency, especially when you're investing a lot of time building out these agents and workflows. You know, you can't afford the disruption that something like this could cause. So, you know, you bring up a really good point.
It's quickly becoming a mission critical platform. And whatever AI tools you use, and I don't think you should choose one, because if you choose ChatGPT and it fails on you, your people should be ready to switch to Copilot or whatever it is, like whatever that thing is. Or if you have a product like Audition or some homegrown, pick your model thing. If one of these things fails, you need to be able to switch to another one.
That's great. I mean, yesterday, ChatGPT was giving me network errors like all day, every day. After about like the 10th, like network error and like refreshing the page, I was like, forget it. Like I just switched to Audition AI.
Yeah. And
it was good because we got that default ChatGPT where you can have a conversation with it.
Yeah.
And it worked.
Yeah.
So it's a great point.
We were having problems with Vercel last night as well.
Really?
Yeah, we were. I mean, it comes directly from OpenAI, so whatever, it's probably related. The whole day, all the pages weren't loading.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just choking.
Okay.
Anyway. Guys, this wraps up another episode. AuditionAI.com. That's audition-ai.com. We discovered that when you research AI solutions, Audition AI is showing up in ChatGPT results.
Yes.
We're excited about that. It's cool. But click like, subscribe, leave a comment. We'd really like to see what models you are using. All right, guys.
Thank you.
All right,
Yeah.
great.